Hey, what is going now, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another week of the TNC podcast. We have nearly racked up 40 episodes. Not quite, though. It's episode 39.
Woo!
And we are joined by the wonderful Connor Southwell.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm not going to shake your hand for a very special reason, because you all know we like to eat on the TNC podcast. Not
And
many
you
people
love it.
not many people like it.
They love it, Jack.
I wouldn't like it if I was a listener. And we messaged Connor and said, look, we've had a few... Huckabee brought the goods, didn't he?
Bought the Africa.
And a Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah.
What else did he bring? He brought something else, didn't he?
His presents.
His presents for Huckabee. So we said to Connor, you need to bring some food, mate. And he turned up with this.
Pull that cake.
Look at that Victoria sponge. Not only is it my favourite type of cake, I think that's incredibly impressive. Now, I've noted,
This is really
didn't I?
special. It really is.
I noted before, and if for people listening on iTunes, go on YouTube just to have a look at the thickness of this double cream layer here, because we've got the two fantastic sponges. They look nice and fluffy, but also dense.
Yeah.
You've got that wonderful layer of whipped double cream, strawberry jam,
Strawberry jam.
and then the classic
so, yeah.
strawberry jam. I mean, we've even got, if we want to, some strawberries here, some actual
I
strawberries.
feel they've really gone for fine details. Is that there's that kind of that sprinkle
Yeah,
of icing sugar as well, just to
I
finish. I mean, Delia would be extremely
she
proud.
would, and
Connor.
she's sitting just here, and she's always proud of us, but she's exceptionally proud. So have a plate.
Let's cut this up, shall we?
Have a plate, Connor. There's not much room on this table.
We've got a massive knife. Don't use.
It's not like we
knives,
have
no.
football to talk about or anything, but I
Just
think.
sod the football for 2 minutes. Do you
Anyway, Connor, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Good.
Yeah.
want to do the honours?
Oh, not.
No?
No, I don't
Okay,
trust myself. No.
Just be careful here.
Oh, that is a lovely sponge.
cut?
You can tell. I mean, the knife comes clean through first bit. So, by the way, how big would you like your piece?
I'll only have a thin slice.
Just
I've eaten.
That's no excuse.
That's not
Okay,
nice.
let's
but,
cut them a nice
And have a
round.
fork. Always eat your cake with a fork. We like to do things.
You must be forking joking me, Jack.
Uh,
I mean, look at that. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. does it?
Wonderful.
It's decent.
I mean, come on.
Are you claiming you made this?
No, I'll give credit to my mum.
Okay. If
made
she's
with
watching,
love.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Mother
sure she.
Southwell.
I did tell her I'd give her a shout out.
No,
so
that's lovely,
give her
and
a
thank you. Mothers
Shout
are
out.
very good at making cakes, and yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the football while
Whoa.
Chris
How
continues.
big do you want your
I'd
slice?
I'd like it quite big, because no, not that big. Size does matter here.
Does it?
Yeah, about there. Lovely. And we've still got.
That's a big old wedge.
I mean, we've only had like a quarter.
Connor, we're here for an hour, mate.
This is
good,
a
yeah.
big
Strap
old
in.
boy.
There we go. Lovely old job. Lovely. Right.
Should we just
Let's-
take this cake out of the way? I feel like it's in the way.
Yeah, let me just move this over here quickly.
you.
This probably doesn't need refrigerating, does it?
Damn, absolutely fine. Right, let's talk about football. We've probably lost every single person
Now-
that's watched this video.
Today is the first day since Christmas when I actually know what the date is and what the day of the week is, because last week was just a complete blur to me.
Oh, that cream. Ooh.
We played Millwall last Monday, so we haven't actually done a podcast since then. And let's talk about Millwall, because going into that, we've just come off the back of that 0-0 with Burton. You were there, Connor, you saw it
Yep.
with your own eyes. It was punishment at times.
Sadly.
It was a good win against Millwall in the end.
Really good win, yeah, and sort of capped off a really good festive period. I think 9.
Was it?
Well, I thought 7 from 9. It's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
7
decent.
from 12. We're not saying.
It was a decent
Depends how you
festive
look at it.
period, wasn't it? It was decent.
I mean, what did you make of that Millwall game, Chris? Because at half time you were absolutely furious. You were saying it's
Yeah.
probably time up for Farke.
No, it wasn't. Don't mince my words, mate. I thought, what? I can't believe you've led your audience on there. I was extremely frustrated at half time, and why wouldn't you be? You're 1-0 down at Millwall at home.
Yep.
After you've put out an extremely average team against an average Burton side, you'd expect our boys to come out and at least be level at half time. So I was rightly furious. But I mean, the key word for me is just relief. Just really relieved we got those points over the line, because I think Daniel Farke needed it. I think the players needed it, and I think most importantly the Carrow Road support desperately needed it. And you saw against Chelsea as well. I think that there's been some serious tension kind of released now. I think everyone's dropped their shoulders and gone, right, we're back. that there is an opportunity now to actually show some good football again.
I mean, I suppose the argument for that Millwall game, for the happy clappers out there who weren't too fussed with that first half, is that the performance levels weren't actually too bad. We created some chances, and I think Millwall pretty much scored with their only shot. But I suppose at this time of the year, and especially the situation we're in, it's more results over performances, isn't it? And that's the frustrating thing.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. If that performance comes off the back of the good run earlier on in the season, I think it's viewed a little bit differently. I think it was all a bit toxic from that point, and particularly at Carrow Road, because I think you've got all these people paying their money who haven't really seen any sort of progression from last year. So there was obviously going to be a negative reaction, but as you say, I don't think it was too bad.
But you kind of realise how low expectations have sort of slumped when you go in 1-0 down against Millwall and people are still like, well, at least we created 3 chances, isn't it? Because
I
didn't think the performance was that great. It was okay, and I don't think we deserved to be losing, but we created 2 or 3 half chances, a couple of pop shots from the outside of the box. That's not a team that is going to be challenging for the playoffs, is it? That's not the performance from that. That 45 minutes against Millwall, the second half was better.
Yeah, well, monumentally better, wasn't it? I think we absolutely dominated. But I think that first half doesn't fill you with the... I mean, for me, the real frustration, and, I don't want to draw it into the atmosphere debate straight away, but I'm going to. I just think that there seems to be now kind of this point where the Norwich fans have almost given up on creating an atmosphere, to be honest with you. I really do. I think when you've got 3 stands doing absolutely nothing, I think it's extremely difficult to, when you're 1-0 down at half-time and the only thing you can muster up is a boo, I do think that's extremely disappointing.
But I suppose if we're going to touch on this atmosphere debate, the game against Chelsea a couple of days ago, the atmosphere was good on the whole. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't anything to write home about. I suppose it shows that maybe we're just going too deep into this whole atmosphere thing. If we're playing well and we're playing against a big team, the atmosphere is going to be better. Yeah,
I mean, as someone who sort of sits in the River End, and
it's a good end. I've sat there for many a year.
It's a lovely end. Yeah, I've sat there since I've been going. But I think the issue that some people have with it is this idea that or some people view it as if you don't sit in the Barclay, you're not a proper fan, and I think that's the issue with it. In terms of overthinking it, I think they are to a degree. I think flags and stuff, it's great for the short term, but long term, I think there needs to be some sort of...
Don't we need short term though, Connor? I think we desperately need
at the
short
moment.
Term.
Yeah. I mean, I sat there on Saturday, and I mean, you're saying it was much better, but I thought it was quite flat. And that's someone who doesn't sit in there.
Because that was probably one of the best atmospheres of the season.
Yeah, and I thought it was quite flat until sort of the last 10 minutes when suddenly everyone got behind it.
Isn't it really interesting, right? So a lot of people that sat in the Barclay, vocalised the fact that there was loads of new people in the Barclay. Well, actually, the atmosphere was much better because of the new people that sat in the Barclay, and I think you'll find a lot of people...
single-handedly
I'll take credit for it.
I did hear Connor. He was a massive voice, to be fair. I think actually the new people came in, and didn't it make such a difference that the people that just turned up to be entertained just sung because they're at the football with their mates. All right, they might be younger, they might be the people that don't normally get tickets, but I really liked the fact that they just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
They were there to be entertained, to watch the game of football, and they were just going to back the boys. And yes, they were going to sing Always Shit on the Old Blue and White, and they were going to give the Chelsea fans hassle, and great. And I actually think that says a lot. I'm going to say it. I think that there is we've got an extremely elderly fan base, and I'm not saying all of the older people aren't singing, because I think there are a lot of fantastic supporters that have been going forever and a day. They give it everything and sing along to everything. But I think in terms of attracting new supporters, that £10 ticket incentive to get people in the door at Chelsea, it worked in terms of the atmosphere. But we need something short term. I think we need more flags. I think we need something else, because didn't it make a difference, Connor? Didn't it make a difference?
Yeah, what I will add on that is I think it helped that there was more away fans. I think the fact that you get clubs like, no disrespect to them, but Burton, who have come so quickly to where they are, and they're bringing
20 people.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's been much better because there's been sort of the to and fro of chance, and we haven't had that this season because the away support has been less, probably because of the prices.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game, and I enjoyed the
did as well, actually. I wasn't too up for it going into it, you know.
Neither was I.
I was expecting a 3-0. I can remember a few years back when I think we drew Man City in the third round of the Cup and we lost 3-0. We never turned up. Man City outclassed us. But we're very much at the races at the weekend. I want to quickly go back to the Millwall game because I think the fact we came back from 1-0 down in a time when it could have quite easily gone very nasty shows a very unique thing at Norwich at the moment, is the fact that we're probably below expectation to where we thought we'd be at this point in the season. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think any of us expected that we'd fly away with the league, but I think we probably expected to be in and around the playoffs at this point.
Yep.
And yet, it seems like the players are still 100% behind Daniel Farke. It seems like even the more, you know, the ones who are being touted with moves away, the James Madisons, the Alex Pritchards of the world, are still very much enjoying their football here. Mm-hmm. You've got a board that's still back Daniel Farke, and on the whole, not 100%, but on the whole, the majority of fans want this to work for Daniel Farke, and you don't often see that, do you, Connor? When you know we've had a terrible few seasons. We were expecting so much this season. We've got a fairly talented squad. We're underperforming, yet the manager has still, on the whole, got the backing of everyone.
That's it. Yeah, I think the circumstances for this one makes this one, you know, this situation really unique in the sense that he's come in and okay, he's been made aware of the financial sort of constraints, if you like, but you know, he probably didn't anticipate three of his senior players leaving.
Yeah.
He probably didn't expect to have to half the wage budget as quickly as he has.
All the injuries as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, let's not forget he worked pretty much the whole summer. It was him and Stuart Webber recruiting players because the scouting network wasn't as good as in place as it was now. So it's been difficult for him in 6 months, and I do think there's someone there who understands the game and has the knowledge of the game and always speaks well. And I think we're finally starting to see him live up to this tag of this progressive coach who brings through young players and gets his teams playing for him. I think
he's really good with the young players, and I think it's a really great point. And
well, he's come through development football, hasn't he? So you would hope he's good with that kind of.
And I mean, he's been great with the players that he has signed. I think overall for me, Daniel Farke has been decent overall. I've got two kind of things that do bug me a little bit with Daniel so far during his time here. Is one, his substitutions. I think A, they're wrong most of the time,
okay.
and B, I think they're too late to make an impact on the games. And I think that in the Championship he'll come to realise that players like Wes Hoolahan, you can't throw them on with 5 minutes to go and expect them to do something. That's just not the way it works. The other thing as well is I think that I don't think the man management of the experienced players has been good. I don't. I'm not saying that the experienced players that he's left out should definitely be in, but as I touched on when we lost to Brentford, Jack, in my post-match interview with you, you know, there is something funny there that those experienced players aren't in the team, and I do raise the question of if those experienced players had been in the mix, even on the bench, would that have got the team over the line, Connor, in terms of those 1-0 losses?
Potentially. I think we've seen this club sort of for the last 7 years, rightly or wrongly, go for more experienced heads. You look at your Naismiths, your Martins, Basong, you know, players who had Premier League experience at the time. Malumbu, exactly. And very few of them have worked. And I wonder now if this is the club going, those players need to go and we need to go towards something where financially it's a better plan for us. So players with sell-on value and players that we can develop. You know, you look at the transfer rumours with these, you know, players from non-league, players from abroad who are younger, who have sell-on value, and I think that's sort of the way they have to go.
But I think I agree with you entirely. I totally agree with that. I think John, I think Malumbu, I think Basong. I don't think those players deserve to stay, and they did need to go, definitely. A, to lighten the wages, and B, because of the fact there is this whole old Norwich City Football Club happening. But I mean, I'm not going to pull any punches here. I think that, you know, Wes and Russ not being near that squad during the times where, you know, we've lost games on the bounce, and you need experience in that changing room.
I think Wes has been on the bench for the majority of games. And are you saying?
Has he? I don't think he has, Jack. I think you're wrong there.
all I will add on Wes is he's in a difficult predicament at the moment, because if you bring him on, you're taking off James Madison.
I forgot you don't like Wes, Connor.
This is the myth that I don't like Wes, which isn't true. You know, he's
you're right. You wrote a whole article on it.
The fact is, if you bring in Wes, you're dropping Madison and Pritchard. Who the hell is better than Madison?
This is Madison who's created however many, whatever stat you want to read that boosts it, but
all of them. He's
very
top
creative
of all of
player and someone who creates stuff regularly. Do you then take him off to bring on a player who has to then grow into the game quite early on, and so or do you?
I just want him on the bench. I'm not telling you. I'm not saying.
I think he has been on the bench.
Mate, he's not been on the bench enough this season. He's not. Okay. He really hasn't. And when your team is trailing away or at home to Brentford, these are the players that you need to have in and around the mixer. But overall, it's good at the moment, and I'm feeling positive.
Let's move on to the Chelsea game.
I need to interject. Connor writes for the TNT website now, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
And we need to mention that.
Yeah.
I don't think we plugged the website enough. TalkNorwichCity.com. Links are always in the description to the website if you want to check it out. Fantastic writing. I'm not just saying because he's sitting next to me, but it is very good.
Yeah, I just thought it was worth a plug. That's your TNC News, isn't it?
TNC News, yeah.
We don't just do videos.
No, we do audio and written and all of the...
We do everything, really.
All of the different types of communication.
To be honest, we are just media sluts.
Anyway, let's move on to Chelsea. That was the most recent game. It's very easy to dig deep into a fairly dull 0-0 draw with the Chelsea side, but tactically, I think Farke got it spot on, didn't he?
Yep, yeah, I think he did. I think it was brave, really, really brave to match Chelsea, but I think matching them in terms of formation worked for long periods. I think what they like to do is push all their players wide and try and overload the wide areas, and I think we stopped that very well. So they didn't really have, that I can think of anyway, clear-cut chances. I think they were shots from distance, and Angus had them pretty much covered. So in terms of you can say they were poor, but Norwich did what they had to do very, very well.
I think it was a valiant effort from us. I think there's the national press, as always, seem to have said, Chelsea misfired,
well,
and
that's what sells papers, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but this is a Norwich City podcast, Jack, and I'm saying that I think that any Norwich fan that thinks that Chelsea was shit, I think you're wrong. I think they're okay, and their okay is our excellent, probably. When you've got players like Pedro and Willian running at you. By the way, what a player Willian is! Yeah. My lord, this is someone that is playing with Neymar in the international setup. And then, by the way, Jamal Lewis is up against him, who had an absolutely fantastic game again. Considering he was up against him, and another one that I need to mention as well is Zimmerman. What a game for Zimmerman!
And it's been a good. He was excellent against Burton.
Yeah.
Well, he is excellent,
isn't he?
Did he play
against Millwall? I don't think he did, did he? But he's considering this is a man who was playing German 4th Division football. I know it's been said a lot this season, but I don't think we've given him enough credit because he's been on the whole
unsung hero. Totally.
It's got much better as well as he's gone on. You look sort of the Villa game where he really, really struggled. I think he was a bit in awe of the whole. Oh look, I'm playing at Villa Park. I'm playing against John Terry, someone that he basically said that he idolised, and I think that was a big thing for him. But he stepped up, and that tackle in the first half was incredible, absolutely incredible, and he's proven his worth, and he's been a colossus.
For me, though, it's the thing that's impressed me most with him and Hanley is the aerial presence, because so many times in previous seasons we've struggled so much with long balls forward.
We have not had that aerial presence since Craig Fleming and Malky Mackay. Fact, and that is that in the footballing world is too long ago. Yep. Especially when Norwich have been plying their trade in the Championship. It's something that is just absolutely essential to the game. My thing is, and I said this to Connor a lot, I turned around quite a lot because Connor was there, I just wanted to love Connor up a bit. I think when you play that well against Chelsea in that formation, I think you've got to stick to it in the league. I really do.
I mean, you said it in your fan cam after Farke, that's the formation we were playing for the majority of pre-season. We probably didn't have as many options. I know Jamal Lewis was in the pre-season setup. I think did he get injured in pre-season? I think he did at the end, didn't he? Yeah. So he was out for Fulham. I can remember us playing I know it was the first game, but we looked all over the place, and we were very lucky to get a point that day, and we kind of scrapped it from there. I think Farke was like, shit, okay, like this is business now. But it looked like, I've written it in my EDP article that's going out tomorrow. I thought we looked incredibly balanced.
I've got you right for the EDP.
Yeah, it happened.
Jot that in there.
When was your last one?
About 4 months ago or something. They just called me.
Oh no, fair play. No, it's great, mate. I just forgot.
But if you want to read it, then...
Media sluts, as we say.
Yeah. What was I saying? We look balanced, and I think
yes.
I said it to you at the weekend, Connor. We've got options. You know, it's not just Hanley, Zimmerman, and Close. You could pull a Sean Raggett in there. You could.
That's it. Yeah. I think now Raggett's back. You look at that now as a sort of a viable option. Obviously, you know, for whatever reason, rightly or wrongly, Russell Martin isn't involved. Frank is out on loan. You know, you then look at Raggett to come in and step up. And
do you think we'll sell defenders? I think we might sell a defender in January.
Who?
I think we're overloaded. I don't know who, but I'm saying, you know, when you've got.
I suppose you do have disposable options if you are desperate for cash.
Yeah, but I don't. And to be fair, that defence is being mixed up a lot. I mean, which isn't ideal, but you know, it's been good for keeping them happy, I'm sure, apart from Marcel. But I think for me, I'd be probably looking to offload a defender because, especially as you can use that money elsewhere, and obviously a desperate need is that forward line.
I suppose that is the thing, isn't it? Is we've got defenders.
You've got to be clever with the squad. You've got to be clever in the transfer window. So,
and you've got to be clever financially as well.
Yeah.
In terms of, let's talk about Jamal Lewis. We talked about it with Darren Huckabee a few weeks ago, Chris. This whole Academy 1 status, probably the return on investment on that. It's been a big outlay for Norwich, this whole Academy setup, and except for Murphy, who was kind of already through.
He was already through. That's not.
We haven't had any Academy prospects come through, and you look back to the FA Youth Cup team.
It doesn't happen straight away though, Jack.
No, it doesn't, and that's the thing I was then going to touch on, Connor, is the fact that we are now starting to see, you've got Aston Oxbury, who's our third choice keeper, you've got Jamal Lewis. I was watching the Shrewsbury game yesterday. I know Ben Godfrey hasn't come through the academy, but he's a young player, man of the match against West Ham. You've got Carlton Morris, who was up front for them. You do now start to have players coming through, and let's not forget as well, these are players we're going to be relying on next season.
Yeah, I think it's what's really good to see now, which hasn't been in place really for a long time at Norwich, is a clear pathway now. They go out on loan, they get a season or two. You know, you look at Madison, rightly, you know, Alex Neil got a lot of flack for that decision.
Probably Neil Adams was orchestrating that move as his role as loan manager.
Yeah, I think he probably does.
And I think that was the right thing for
I think he probably does. Yeah, and so do I. And I think it came back. And as a young player, you need a setback to prove people wrong, and that makes you better as a young player, and it helps you psychologically as well. You know, and that probably helps with the fact he's a bit more level-headed. Is the fact that he's been frustrated and he's been on the bench, and now he's getting an opportunity to play and be creative, and it's been wonderful.
That's not just football. That's life. Let's take football out of it. You need to be hit sometimes to come back a much better person. 1,000,000%.
But happened with Murphy's as well. You know, I think
they
went
multiple
to
times,
MK Dons, Coventry. You know, and there were times.
Well, you have to live in Milton Keynes and Coventry. That is grim.
No comment.
Well, you look at both of them. Josh in particular got a dose of Premier League football. Then suddenly he was out on loan.
Yeah.
So for him psychologically, that's probably a bit of a challenge. He came back to Norwich, and is then
now singing in kebab shops.
There you go. Absolutely.
We'll get onto that in a minute.
So it's good to see.
Yeah, good to see. Let's talk about Murphy. Played as a lone striker. I think he played that role maybe once before. Did he play in the cup? No, it was Watkins, wasn't it, doing that? It was probably his first ever chance going as a lone striker. And I thought he looked bloody good first half.
I just think he had nothing to lose, did he? Again, I think he just played with freedom. I'm sure Daniel Farke said that to him as well. Just, you know, see what you can do against, you know, when you've got David Luiz and, you know, Gary Cahill. These are world class, arguably, you know, players. And I thought he did very well, and I think he did a lot better than I expected. And that's no disrespect to Josh. I think he is getting much better. The last 2 games he's been much better, and I'm not saying his performances before that were absolutely terrible, but they were okay. And now I think something's tweaked with Josh, something's clicked, and it's working at the moment. I think it's the fact that he's been coming out wide more and collecting it. But against Chelsea, for me, I don't know what Connor's going to say here for me, but it was just freedom. It was just complete freedom to do what he wanted to do.
I saw it as a little bit of an experiment. I think with all the speculation around Jerome and Oliveira, you know, obviously financially they can't go out and go and buy a striker. So maybe he sees Murphy as someone who can do it, and I think he showed that he's got the capability to do it as well. You know, physically he was a threat in behind for Norwich, which Norwich don't have, I think, from strikers at the moment. And as you say, I think the knockback with the crowd and stuff, that's only going to make him better psychologically, and is only going to help him as a player. So
is that cheerio to Marley Watkins then? If Josh can do that,
I hope not. I really hope not.
Do you like Watkins?
Hello. I didn't expect this. Okay.
We're going to find out exactly his uncle. Or something.
We don't hate Marley Watkins, by the way.
No, I don't hate him.
We've got Welsh links here.
I struggle to see what he's offered so far as a player who scored 10 goals for Barnsley and was meant to be this really quick, dynamic, versatile winger. Don't think we've seen anything apart from that second half against Sheffield Wednesday, where I thought he was superb. But apart from that, he hasn't looked up to the standard.
Do you think he's been desperately unlucky, or do you think he's not been up to the
being played out of position? I don't think he's a winger.
Or is
he? Do you think he's a striker though?
Yeah.
Well, this is it.
Well,
this
I
is
think
his problem.
that's where he thinks he can play.
No,
I think he's good enough?
The issue.
No, I don't.
You can't be a footballer at this point and not know your position.
No, I think he does know where he plays.
Does he know his position?
I think he's a bang average Championship striker.
Oh, Jack.
I think you're being kind.
Being kind? Was he League One?
I don't think he's League One. I think he's bottom end Championship. Barnsley's about his level. I think he had a good season last year.
No, I think you're right. He's got a terrible touch.
Listen, I'd love for him to come out and prove me wrong and score loads of goals in the second half of the season, but I can't see it. He's just really struggled.
We watched him at Burton, Chris. We saw the 57 misplaced touches.
There's a reason why I didn't go to Burton, boys, after the last time we went to Burton, before the time before.
Both him and Husband were pretty poor.
Jimmy Husband.
To be kind.
I think, we kind of retracted on our statements about Jimmy Husband earlier in the season.
Yeah.
I don't think we were too wrong in what we said early doors. He's just pretty awful, isn't he?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of he's just come back from a fairly long-term injury and whatnot. But
I'm just not saying anything.
He's struggled, hasn't he? He's struggled. But he played one game.
Put it this way: was he on our bench against Chelsea? I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I said to someone, if Husband comes on and scores a 90th minute winner, I'm going to run naked on the pitch.
I'm not being funny though, but Jimmy Husband is.
Why are you calling him Jimmy?
I don't know.
It's very patronising, Jack. Why is that?
James Husband, he's being made to look like a non-league footballer by a 19-year-old who.
And by the way, wouldn't you like that? Let's talk about that more. Let's not be so negative about Husband. Let's just say Jamal has been superb, and Husband ain't getting anywhere near this team. No way.
I think as a supporter, I think I'd rather watch a 19-year-old develop and get better.
That's one of your own.
Yeah,
he's already better than him.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But after 4 games, I think it's potentially too early to build him up as a world beater.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely, he's been brilliant. But it's about, can he do it consistently? And I think at this moment in time, he's looked better than Husband and Steepleman in that position.
Okay, so that 0-0 draw against Chelsea means we do now have a replay at Stamford Bridge, lucrative, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be on a Wednesday. It's going to be on BBC. The first time we've been televised on BBC since
You're
we
going to
beat
be there.
Ipswich. I'm going to be there. The last time, can you remember when we last went to Stamford Bridge?
Yes.
Was it 1-0? And it was
that was the coldest day of my life.
Yeah, it genuinely was.
Oh
Baltic.
My God! I actually thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to come back. Honestly,
it was so cold.
It was so cold.
And it was out of the blue as well, that one. I remember that.
Was that a pun?
Well, hey, yeah.
A little bit.
Hello.
I remember that day was the day after there was some kind of explosion on a tube, and the underground was just completely... There was no one on there. Can you remember?
Yeah, but... Okay.
It just popped into my mind.
Right, okay.
And it was just a very easy trip to Stamford Bridge.
Oh, and you know what? Let's quickly change the subject. Stamford Bridge, for all the Norwich fans that go... You can not eat, do not worry, up to 5 minutes before kick-off. I swear to God, I had the quickest service burger in my life. Okay, so here's the situation, Connor. You would not believe this, mate, honestly.
Okay.
So, I say to the guy, I'll have a double cheeseburger with onions, please. Okay, there's some technicalities there.
It's a big order.
I mean, there are some technicalities there, right? I get my wallet out. And I get my wallet out, and I kid you not, it's in my hand. Like, I can't even open my wallet, because the burger's in my hand, with the onions. And the guy's like, would you like ketchup? And I'm like, can I give you my money? It was incredible. So anyway,
was the burger any good, though?
But the burger was... the burger was a solid 2 out of 10. But if you want food fast, outside, there is this weird burger. It's not even... It looks like it's coming out of a post box as well. It's very strange.
I'll tell you who do good burgers in London. Barnet. Very good.
Okay.
There you go.
Did you go there for the...
I've been there a couple of times, yeah.
That's sort of
Barnet.
That's so scary.
My
little sort of soft spot team, yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Only because sort of last year my sister took me to a game and it was
Why?
just randomly.
No,
well,
really?
she sort of kicked me up for about 4 months that she was taking me to see a ballet.
Right.
Because she's quite into theatre and stuff.
Why
And,
Barnet? There's got to be some link
well,
there. Don't
we
tell me you
sort of-
randomly went there. Just admit it that you support them. Come on.
It started off as a tour of Wembley, quite nice, and then afterwards, got the tube to Barnet, which is quite close to Wembley.
Yeah.
They
Wembley to Barnet.
they were playing Wimbledon, and I went sort of thinking, okay, I'm not gonna sort of go either side, and then sort of something unfortunate must have happened. I think Barnet will lose, and I sort of thought, right, I'll get behind these, but I think they're bottom of the league too.
I can remember when we played Barnet. The Checker Trade Trophy, wasn't it? We played Barnet.
It's a good little ground.
And I think Big Dave went, and they had the loveliest clubhouse there.
I just think of Leon
Swell
Barnet.
burgers are unbelievable.
Player. I'll tell you what, the worst food we've ever had. This doesn't even compete. Outside the Emirates.
Oh my lord! Food poisoning,
Yeah,
Bill.
I genuinely thought I was going to die.
Again.
Yeah.
Did you get food poisoning?
Like, didn't
Yeah.
you order a burger and they gave it to you and it was like
No.
the onions weren't cooked. They were raw onions. No, Connie, you wouldn't believe it. They chopped an onion with the skin on and they literally put it in his burger. They didn't even cook it. They gave him raw onions at the Emirates.
I was would my mum do that? That's what you have to ask.
Oh my god, no! She wouldn't
No, so
dare.
the burger's cooked, and I went, "Do you have any onions?" And he went, "Yes." And I was like,
Chuck
"Where are
them
these
out
onions?" And he pulls his onion out from under his. It was like a car.
I think he was in his pocket actually.
It's probably
He
been in there
just
for a
pulls this
few
onion
weeks.
out, rips like the top layer of skin off, and just cuts raw onion on my burger.
Is he crying?
No, he wasn't crying.
But he
was
had a
slightly-
strange
He's
hat.
probably alien then. If he's not
Yeah.
crying, I was cutting an onion.
Yeah,
I should have
very
probably
weird.
questioned it, though, pulling it out of the back of like a 1990.
Was it an
1998
official
Mondeo.
Arsenal like?
No.
That was the day that Snads got mugged, wasn't it?
Yeah. Never made it past
What a
Cambridge.
day! What a
Yeah.
day!
And we lost.
Anyway,
Um,
we digress.
Anyway, let's quickly talk about the whole ticket thing about this Chelsea game. We've talked about tickets a lot this season. 30 quid a ticket for adults, 15 quid for me and Connor, it'd be 30 quid for you.
Yeah.
It's on telly, it's on a school night.
Well, you think it'd be 30 for me?
Yeah, just use very good moisturising cream. And we've got 6,000 tickets. We're not going to sell them.
It's ambitious.
We're not going to sell
ambitious, particularly at 30 quid. And now it's on BBC as well. There's no real incentive. So I'd hope the club do something. To be honest, whether they will or not, we'll see. Subsidising coach travel or something. But
What a great opportunity, by the way. We mentioned this in the last podcast in terms of short-term boost for the supporter base.
Yep.
Use the extra TV revenue that we didn't think we.
True.
That's it,
True.
yeah.
True.
Yeah, and I think as someone who goes away games quite often, Bristol City, I think we worked out would have been over 100 quid for me and my sister to go, and we're both not classed as adults, so
Yeah.
that's including coach. So I don't know. I find it a bit difficult to.
Well, yeah, it's a
accept.
lot of love. Yeah, Bristol is particularly expensive, even for.
Yeah.
I got my ticket the other day. I was like, that's
a lot
of money.
But anyway, we're on the BBC, which is a great opportunity to display our epic performance in front of the national audience.
And if we get through, it's Newcastle at home.
The return of Jacob Murphy. There you go.
Great way to think.
Very
about it.
winnable fixture
Yeah.
against Newcastle.
They're not
Love,
gonna
by the
be
way,
playing
before
full strength
you say I hate Newcastle, I love Newcastle. I actually really like them.
Do you?
Yeah, I really like Newcastle. Proper football club.
Good.
Genuinely proper.
Haven't offended any opposition fans yet. We might do later.
I will do. 'Cause
And
I
of
haven't seen the
course,
question.
how do you celebrate a 0-0 with Chelsea? Well, you go to one of the worst kebabs on Prince of Wales Road. You have a doner.
By the way, it is
and you
the
go mental.
worst.
It is the
kebab.
worst, yeah.
Every time you walk past there, guaranteed there's a fight. In actual fact, that it's called
The best kebab.
Oh, okay, you've done it now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's them out of business.
It's
Well,
not-
actually, it's not
No.
because but if you go in there, you're going to expect two things: either a burger thrown at you,
I was about to beat up by a vegan in
there's
there.
there's always a fight
wow.
in there.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
always a fight in
Yeah.
there. Every time, always a fight in there.
But
But anyway, quite an epic moment.
It was because I saw Snads tweeting about it like 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up in the middle of the night and I just saw Snads. He was like having a chant with Angus Gunn. I was like, yeah, all right, Snads, one too many, whatever he likes to drink. And then the next morning, Angus Gunn was on a chair. Jacob Murphy was, by the way, Jacob Murphy had ketchup on his doner kebab. Josh Murphy, sorry, had ketchup on his doner kebab.
I just don't do kebabs, full stop, to be honest.
Do you not?
No.
They're not my favourite things, but I won't put ketchup on.
No,
Garlic mayonnaise.
I you know what? I'm going to stand strong here and say best kebab is tin pot. Do you know why? It's all about piccolos on the other side of the street Bobby, if you're watching, cheers for the discount, mate. Do you know what happened last time?
Good
My
guy.
Christmas night out, Bobby had me behind the counter in Piccolos serving people. I just literally, served them their meals. No, I just did it because I was, sorry, don't drink.
Is it a good thing that Angus and Josh are out on the lash?
Depends what side you look at it. I think it will give supporters a boost for whatever reason they like.
That's all we need.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's the short-term solution. Just get the players pissed. Happy days, Connor.
I think the club won't be too impressed, and I think, as you said earlier, I think Man City probably won't be too impressed with Angus Gunn, but. Whether they'll have repercussions for it, we don't know. They're two young lads.
You know what? More of it. They're two young lads enjoying their football. They've just joined the Premier League team.
They're human beings.
They're probably had
Daniel Farke says it. Daniel Farke literally says, after a win, you've got to celebrate. So he endorses it. In fact, I blame Daniel Farke for this incident.
Didn't win though.
I reckon Daniel Farke was up bar 11, going even more mental.
Bar 11.
Yeah.
Cheesecake in one hand.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
smearing it on his face. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to some Twitter questions. We've got a lot this week.
It's because Connor's brought them in.
Yeah, Norwich City Central, thinking we're hooligans here. What's the worst trouble you've ever got into in an away game? Have you ever got into any trouble?
I had a coin thrown at me at Southampton.
Did you?
Well, Southampton?
Was that
I don't think it was meant for me, but it was sort of landed on my foot.
How much was it?
That was only 2p.
Oh, gutted. Wasn't even
It landed at your foot.
Yeah, there was sort of a guy a block away from me giving it large. I think it was meant for him, but I was right close to the Southampton fans as well. And
but did you have your safety goggles on? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah,
no worries.
So you've had a 2p launched at you.
Yeah.
What's the worst trouble you've ever got into?
Well, I think me and you are always a bit sketchy at Ipswich, aren't we?
Yeah, I never like going to Ipswich too much.
Ipswich for me and Jack is always a let's see if we can get there and back alive kind of expedition. Yeah, I think when the horse almost kind of trampled us over at Ipswich, that was actually very scary, considering I'm pretty scared of horses as well.
Yeah, that was a bloody big horse as well.
They're always big boys, aren't they?
Like bigger than Yarmouth racecourse horses, and then big. What are your thoughts on Pete Rogers saying he'd be happy for Oliveira to leave and think he's worth £2 million?
I saw this question earlier, and I've got to come in straight away. Now, a big shout out to Michael Bailey and the Pinken Show. If you haven't watched that particular kind of episode with Pete Rogers featuring, go and watch it, because the entry 5 minutes is superb. You would have seen my tweet. It was literally the Antiques Roadshow. They started going out, about the fine Chinaware or something. Pete Rogers is a hilarious man. Pessimistic Pete, don't get me wrong, but very funny guy.
I remember when you went on the Pinken Show in the pub and got a cup of coffee and you just got absolutely slaughtered for it.
I literally could not give two. No. Why? I think it's about time that this whole culture around beer and football needs to actually go
There's
away.
a market for it if the pub's open early.
Beer and cappuccino.
Coffee mornings.
Coffee mornings.
It's an opportunity.
Why not? Why not have a coffee? I think people need to start opening up their eyes, Jack.
Was it a nice coffee?
Of course it was. Well, Pete Rogers had a cup of tea.
He did, yeah.
And Michael Bailey did. Michael Bailey had a Coke. So they were slagging me off, but actually, the following few weeks, they were not drinking beer.
I think it was beer in the teapot.
Yeah, beer, boys, football, beer. It's midweek. Come on.
It is a skill.
Let me have a cappuccino.
Anyway,
one.
Oliveira, is he worth $2 million? Is he worth more?
I think I'd be disappointed if they got $2 million for him. I think it's funny, isn't it? 4 months ago, he's the best striker in the division, and now he's someone who doesn't want to be here, and there's no hard evidence.
How do you know he doesn't want to be here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. People are saying. I don't think there's any hard evidence for that.
Okay.
I think
there isn't any evidence for that.
Well, there's no evidence for that. No one can know.
Yeah.
I think people look at his track record and go, he's been on loan a lot and stuff and never settled. Which, perhaps is right. Perhaps he does want to go. But for me personally, I think it's just a dip in form. You've not really got any other options.
No.
Particularly as Jerome's a bit out of favour. And I think when he plays well, he's brilliant. But we've not seen enough of it. And I question whether they're playing to his strengths. I'm not entirely convinced they are.
They're not. They're absolutely not playing to his strengths.
No.
And that is the issue. I think that,
What are his strengths?
What do you mean, what are his strengths?
Well,
no, the team should be playing to his strengths.
Yeah, what
he's a player. He's a player that wants the ball to feet, and he's getting a lot up here. He's getting a lot here,
1,000,000%.
He's not a target man, and I think he's a player that likes to
play off another striker as well.
He likes the 1-2s. He likes the combination play, sort of outside the box, and he likes to sort of work into the box.
Yeah.
He's not suited to the direct balls and then knocking it down for Madison. That's just
he wants to shoot from distance. The lad wants to shoot from distance, and I trust him to do that. Don't get me wrong, he's had a few wild shots recently, and I do feel sorry. Obviously, he took that free kick off Madison, which didn't do him any favours, but I don't blame him for attempting to do that, because if I was a striker, you know, and my sole purpose was to pretty much score goals, I would have probably tried to take that free kick off Madison.
He's the best finisher at the club. You know, let's not beat around the bush. You know, he's
really.
Yeah,
there's not really much competition.
I think so.
More than Madison.
It's different kinds of finishing, but
Okay.
as in terms of sort of in the 18-yard box, I think very rarely does he get them off target.
Mm-hmm.
I think him taking the free kick, him taking penalties is just him trying to get some confidence back, and him trying to tell the fans, look, this is what I'm about.
Yeah.
I want to score goals, and I think he's still a quality player.
On his day, he's venomous. Give him confidence. Yeah. He's venomous.
2 million's a ridiculous statement for me.
Agreed. Bugger off, pessimistic.
Willemotz is back.
Go on, Willemotz.
Hope you had a lovely New Year, Willemotz. And he's back, and he said, "Hi lads, Happy New Year. I'm offering to drive Naismith to Scotland free of charge. Should I fill my car with anyone else? Maybe Matt Jarvis and Ed Balls."
Why is that? Right, seriously, right. What is the hatred? I mean, I think a lot of people are getting hung up on politics with Ed Balls.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's politics.
But he loves Norwich City Football Club, so I think people need to put politics to one side when it comes to supporting their football team. I think that Ed Balls did a sterling job when the club was on its arse. Yes, all right. He works the media extremely well. But I mean, I've sat next to him a few times in the Upper Barclay. He is a Norwich City fan through and through, and I think there's a total lack of respect for Ed Balls.
I think there's also some confusion about, does he get paid, does he not? He doesn't. He earns nothing for doing what he does, and all he does is chair board meetings and face up to the media when things are tough. And if you have to face up to the media when things are tough, you're going to be scapegoated. You sort of Russell Mine.
True.
And people like that. And I think if you're in the public eye, naturally you're going to get more criticism.
But what I will say is, Strictly was a wee bit embarrassing, wasn't it? It was really bad timing.
What's that?
Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh, yeah. The big question is here that we still haven't answered. Is Willemotz driving to Scotland on his own, or is he taking anyone with him?
I hope he's on a lawnmower.
Imagine how long that would take.
Yeah.
Is Naismith going in his car? Are we keeping Naismith? What are we doing with him?
How would you like me to respond to this question? Because, I mean, from the day he turned up, I've never ever thought Stephen Naismith was right for Norwich City. And I've been criticised and mauled over my negative opinion of Stephen Naismith. But it's so obvious. What is he doing here? He's on an absolute bomb. What is he doing here?
What's he doing here, Connor?
I disagree to an extent. I think he's shown glimpses.
Glimpses?
When he
scored against Everton, man. What else has he done?
I think.
And Leeds, and he got sent off.
There was a spell in the latter end of the Premier League where he worked really, really well with Mbukani.
He worked well.
Yeah.
He worked well.
What
do you define as working well? Strolling across the pitch, pulling a few passes.
I don't think he was ever right for the club.
He grabbed that guy.
First and foremost.
Connor, I'm not bullying you, but I'm just so passionate about the fact that Stephen
Naismith, and he's on a lot of money. So
it's
so
a joke.
rightly,
it's a joke. He's grossly underperformed for this football club.
Has he been given the chance?
I also think, just to go back to my previous point, I thought there was a spell Christmas last year where he actually looked pretty impressive and then got injured.
I can't remember that.
But
no, I'm great.
Other than that, it was a gamble that didn't work, and the club have suffered for that.
I do feel like, although I don't actually hate Stephen Naismith the person. He's a top lad. He does loads of charity work, and that's great. And I do actually feel sorry that he fell for the trap of joining Norwich City Football Club as a gamble buy. He should have had the brains to think, this is a bit risky here.
But that transfer sums up the Norwich City transfer
1,000,000%, and the previous top brass 100%. Yeah,
the Naismiths of the world. Who I think when we signed him, we were excited about it. I was excited.
I was.
Stephen Naismith was a man who we'd been targeting for a while. And we brought in him, and it was Tim Close, wasn't it? And we
Patrick Bamford.
And Patrick Bamford, who famously hit the crossbar against Man City and then done nothing else. And we thought, okay, we've got a chance of staying up here. Then he scores against Liverpool, And then Liverpool happened, and the rest has been downhill from there. We won't talk about that anymore. Willemot's, take Stephen Naismith, strap him in tight, and take him up to Rangers, mate. Edwards saying, haven't seen Chris much on the matchday experiences recently. Any reason why? Jack's missus now taking the +1, obviously. And there was another question, actually. Let me find it. From Max Furman, who is at Loughborough University. Clearly a very clever lad. Jack and Chris still on talking terms. Haven't seen him in the matchday experiences quite as much. Chris probably too busy smashing the gym.
Shall I tell you the honest truth to this? Jack loves the pub. Jack loves the pub. It's so simple. What's happening now is Jack swans off to the pub with his missus and leave. Oh, it's okay. It's absolutely fine.
It's just the venom in your voice.
What they do in the pub, they can do what they want to do in the pub. But I mean, unfortunately, as his long-term friend, I've been left behind. But it's okay.
I bought you a Mars bar before the game.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, I do love you for that. You were nicely sauced up, by the way.
Yeah, I was.
Should I mention that?
I'd had one too many orange juices, and you don't go to away games either, so you're never on them, do you?
I feel like you should just hug it out.
Yeah, we will at the end.
We always do.
But yeah, Chris.
I only go to away games when we're playing well.
Yeah, you are a typical fair weather fan, aren't you?
Absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, I know you are. So we are still on talking terms. Yeah, we're still talking.
And also, I've had a kind of a small bout of serious man flu as well.
Yeah, and
which has put me out of action. So I've been kind of. But I'll be back.
You will be back.
I'll be back.
You will be back. Now this is the big question. It came up on. This is Jack Wright. He's a Norfolk boy. He's a nature geek. He's a UKC graduate, and he's more importantly,
geek? What does that mean?
He probably likes. He looks like he works for the RSPB.
Okay.
And you have to have respect for the RSPB. They do a lot of sterling work with birds. Is North Norfolk really the most beautiful spot in England?
I love the fact that he's asked that question of all people.
I saw this question before I came, and I was thinking about it. Okay. And I was thinking about when I go to away games, and I go to places. I go see Burton, Wigan, and I'm always pleased to see County Hall when I come back. so I think, I've never been to a place and thought, wow, this is a lot better than Norwich or Norfolk.
Connor, you're a man of my own heart.
But then I was born here, so
I think North Norfolk.
It's true, isn't it?
Is the most beautiful part of England.
Okay.
Someone said
what about Cornwall?
Leeds.
Yeah, Cornwall's nice.
Cornwall's got to be up there.
Yeah, it's up. It's
not that I've ever been there.
Might creep in the top 5, but it's in the top 5.
Some lovely beaches in Sussex.
Sussex, yeah, but it's not beating Hunstanton. It's not beating Yarmouth, is it? It's not.
No,
it's not beating Wells. Where were you at the weekend? You were at
Burnham.
Lovely place of the world.
Yeah.
Doesn't Stephen Fry have a house there?
It wouldn't surprise me.
And I think Delia's got property there as well.
It's extremely poosh.
It is very poosh. Jake Mann, can Connor still pass like Xabi Alonso? # safety never has a day off.
Good old boy. I used to play football with him. And the answer
Where did you used to play?
What position?
Yeah.
Centre midfield.
Yeah, really? Were you a bit of a box to box?
I was
kind of Stephen Naismith.
I was the giver getter, but I scored a few goals in my time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Stephen Naismith.
What kind of goals? Pile drivers, late runs into the box.
Well, I sort of had this thing of long distance.
Really?
And I got a lot of stick for getting it over the bar a lot. But
there
was this one time.
You don't shoot, you don't score.
That's it. There was this one time in the cup where we went to a team who was a division higher than us.
Who were they? Name?
Attleborough.
Attleborough. Okay.
And,
I like chocolate.
They were. Thank you very much. They were. I say they were a bit like how Arsenal approached the cup.
Okay. Serious.
Arrogance.
Oh. How do Arsenal approach it? I don't really know.
Arrogance.
Okay, a bit of swagger about.
Yeah. Which is fine. Which is fine. And second half.
So you're away at Attleborough.
Yeah.
What's the weather like?
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
And I get the ball inside. Someone plays the ball to me inside. I hit one at Curl's top corner. Unbelievable. Go through 1-0. Brilliant cup win.
Superb.
Who did you used to play for?
Thorpe.
Okay, so you were the hero of Thorpe for at least a week.
A week, yeah.
It's all about pouring out wonders.
I got man of the match. So.
Did you? I was actually looking at I broke one of my football trophies the other night. Devastating. I knocked it off with my dressing gown, and it fell and smashed. And
that was the most middle class thing you've ever come out with.
What?
Oh yes, I broke my trophy today. I broke it with my dressing gown.
No, the strap kind of swayed.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I was looking back. I was player of the season in 05-06, parents player in 06-07. Top goal scorer. Was that parents player of the year?
Parents player
and players player. And then
isn't parents player the one that they just feel sorry for?
You know what? I got players player as well.
There is a serious problem with parents in youth football.
There is,
serious.
And this wasn't meant to be a deep chat.
No, but there is on a serious note.
It's a good documentary about it on.
Yeah, there is. I mean, my dad actually got banned from the touchline. So you know Mystic Manson. Yeah. You know Mystic Manson. So basically, he'll laugh at the story. So we're playing first side. So Cossey, nasty bastards, and
I feel like that's a generalisation.
No, the youth team were nasty bastards.
Okay.
If you were there, you would have understood.
How old were they say, like?
Probably like 14, 15.
Oh, okay, so like the age where you can't like...
So Mike's a striker, Mystic Manson, loves it, loves the glory. Always thought he could have been a footballer. Shout out Manson. We're not for injuries. Anyway, so he's through on goal, and someone comes from behind, 2 foot in the air, like literally leaps into it, hammers him out. Manson literally has to go to hospital, but he's down on the ground, and the guy that's committed the challenge is giving him jip. And my dad, right, was the linesman at the time, and the ref didn't give it straight away, and he kind of came half on the pitch and went absolutely ballistic. There was so many swears, so much abuse, and at the end of the game, one of the mums from first side, Cossey, comes onto the pitch. You know, in a youth football, you all go, "Oh, hip hip hooray" for the other team. It's that little kind of weird thing that they do just to kind of gloss over the bullshit. Well, basically, one of the mums says, "Don't shake hands with them. Don't shake hands." Because they thought we'd made a meal of the fact that our player had to go to hospital.
Their team, okay.
So my dad then had a little argy-bargy with one of the mums, and then, big shout, Pete Raffareeve.
I don't know if you boys used to do this, but I always used to play on Sunday mornings, which meant Match of the Day was on the night before, and I always used to pick a celebration from Match of the Day to try and recreate if I'd scored.
Well, okay,
and one of my most
subject.
iconic goals, it was away at Waveney. It was a big game. And the night before, I watched Kevin Nolan score an absolute banger, and he's doing this. Okay, so I bang one in last minute, wheel away, and I'm going up to the parents, and I'm going like this, waving. It was one of the best days of my life.
I had a cartwheel. I did a little. So you know that infamous Wes Houlihan cartwheel. Yeah. So I did a little cartwheel and then just kissed up to the air like that, and that was it. And I scored 4 times in my career.
Really?
You defender?
A substitute.
No, substitute. Now this is. Let's talk about this. Actually, this is from. I just saw it. Ben Ambrose.
Good old boy.
Do you know Ben?
Yeah.
Good.
Big up Ben.
Good old Ben. Now he's saying thoughts on Chris Reeves' comments on Madison. I can't speak. Madison being better than Wilshere. Now you got a hell of a lot of stick for this.
Yeah.
It was in your EDP article. Now I don't think you were saying Madison is better than Wilshere, were you? Or were you?
Yeah.
Okay. And you stick by that?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
I mean, where do I begin? I mean, first and foremost, you look at the stats. Second of all, you look at Jack's serious inconsistency.
But let's look at Jack. Let's look at Jack Wilshere at 18, bossing Barcelona in the Champions League.
Okay. Well,
what's Madison doing? He's bossing Burton.
Okay. Well, all right. Just because they're at 2 different clubs, I'm not going to start rimming Arsenal.
Okay.
I think if you actually look at the comments, you'll find that over 60% are just closet Arsenal fans. They've got their back up against their little shitty Wilshere.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly.
Okay, good.
And
please.
By slightly, I mean completely.
Okay.
Just because I think you can dig up statistics and that's fine, but I think when you consider what Wilshere has done at a higher level,
we're not talking about what he has done, though, Connor. And I think that's the issue with the people that responded to that tweet.
So you're talking about?
I'm not talking about history. Yeah, of course I was.
At the moment.
This is the thing. Everyone thought I was talking about the history of the player. I don't give a shit that he played against Barcelona. The here and now, on paper, I think that Madison, given an opportunity in the Arsenal team, would do a better job than Jack Wilshere, and I absolutely stand by that, hand on heart. I wasn't on purposely trying to rear people up. I really wasn't. I think, in terms of his touch, I think it's better. he takes a free kick. Jack Wilshere doesn't take a free kick. Madison scores more goals. He's created more chances than anyone in the top 5 leagues in Europe this season. Jack Wilshere certainly hasn't come anywhere near that. He's had to go out on loan. Madison hasn't.
He has.
Okay. We didn't have to. He was forced out.
Well, I find it difficult. I think Wilshere and Madison are different players in terms of how they play. I think Wilshere's obviously deeper. Madison's always going to get more headlines because of his record. So whereas Wilshere might be the pass before the assist or the pass before the pass that's the assist, Madison is the assist or he is the goal. Whereas Wilshere isn't that. And yeah, for me...
So Madison's both and Wilshere's only one?
I don't think Madison's both.
Well, he is. He is
this
season, Connor.
Yeah, he is this season, but the issue is he's doing it against teams which are not as good.
Okay, that's a valid point.
I think Wilshere... I think he could be as good as Wilshere, better than Wilshere, but at this moment as we stand, I don't think he's better than
Let's not actually forget that this man over here said that Madison was of a similar ilk to Lionel Messi.
I said the way that he gets fouled a lot was...
No, you didn't.
No, I did.
No, you didn't.
I said the way he moves on the ball was very similar to Messi, and the way he's fouled is
he
very
was
similar
quite
to Messi.
possibly better than Lionel Messi.
I never said that.
If you track back through
the
the
podcast is titled "Is Madison Better Than Messi?" I said
you didn't.
Madison, the way he turns on the ball, he's got a centre of gravity like Messi, and he's fouled as much as Lionel Messi because players don't know how to deal with him.
But to clarify that whole Twitter situation, I love the fact that Huck's got involved. By the way, quality banter.
That's the thing that started off.
Quality banter. But I think everyone kind of actually just completely misunderstood the fact that I was talking about what he's doing now. I wasn't talking about...
That's fair enough.
The fact that he's talked about... I mean, I probably actually should have worded it better on reflection.
It's hard to get across on Twitter, isn't it?
But to be honest with you, I absolutely stand by it.
I think let's end it. We're very lucky to have Madison, and we all know
that's what I did as well, mate. Yeah, 100%.
Alex King saying, do you think Ben Godfrey will replace Alexander Tete next season? Both of them were awesome at the weekend.
Yeah, I do. And I think if you look at his situation now, when you compare it to Madison and Murphy, I think they're going through similar pathways, and it makes sense. Tete's on his last year; he's on a lot of money. It's his big last payday.
So you wouldn't give Tete another contract? A lot of people saying they maybe would.
I think when you consider money and stuff, it sort of makes your mind up for you. I think Norwich can't afford it. Essentially, if he's
and even if we could, would you re-sign him?
If he's 4 years younger, I think it's a different debate. Now I don't think so.
And had working knees as well.
Exactly, and there's the injury thing. But I think Ben Godfrey is going to be very, very good.
Chris Cassidy asking that he just loves the videos, basically. I think he has got a question.
Good old boy.
What is his question?
Go on, Chris.
In terms of this is an interesting one, actually. In terms of the quality of the league, do you think it's the worst in years? This year, the only team that is good is Wolves, whereas in previous years, and for example, the year you beat us in the playoff final, there were 5 teams all in and around the automatic permission.
That's a hell of a question.
Positions. I think, I've said it multiple times, I think this league is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's competitive, but I think the standard.
The standard is really poor. But in terms of excitement, I think it's a brilliant division. I think it is a really, really good division.
No, I think
not that I want to be here for 20 years, but it's a good division, and it is one of those where you win a couple, everyone's talking about promotion. You lose a couple, everyone's talking about relegation. So, in terms of the quality, I think that is an excellent question. I think the championships either goes one or two ways. Usually, there's either a team that really storm it and just win it, or it's really tight. And it's a good point. Bar Wolves.
Well, let's not forget Wolves have spent a ridiculous amount of money. But they've spent it very well, to be fair. They've been teams, Villa in the past, Villa last year
they can afford to spend it well, mate.
Yeah, but you look at Villa, they had a shit ton of money and spent it terribly.
Middlesbrough.
True.
A lot of teams spend a lot of money and don't do well, so fair play to it. And I love their gaffer as well. Just an absolute nutcase. Just an absolute nutcase. There's tons of questions. I'm trying to find any new ones. Out of all the signings we made last summer, who's impressed you the most and who's impressed you the least? Simple answer for both. Don't want any explanation why.
Steepman, off the top of my head.
Worst?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, take that back.
There were quite a lot. Yeah, Husband. Okay.
Actually, there's been a few. Husband, Steepman, and Watkins have all disappointed me.
Okay.
And then player that I've
done the best.
Tom Tribal, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
No arguments from either of you. Tom Tribal wins it hands down.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think Angus Gunn.
Yeah, Angus
Because
smashed it. But
I
Tommy
think
T,
people
mate,
forget that when we signed Angus Gunn.
I don't forget it, but I just try not to bring it
No,
up.
when we signed Angus Gunn, there was a lot of people going, is he going to be good enough? There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
Yep.
He hasn't played a game of professional football ever. Is he up for it? Yes, he is.
It's been brilliant.
And I think we all knew that Angus Gunn had a lot of talent, but I think people forget that he maybe wasn't as highly rated as we all think he is now when we first signed him. Because there was a big risk. We'd let go of a player who'd been here for countless years, promotions, was respected, and we brought in Angus Gunn.
Don't like changing Norfolk, do we?
No, we don't. Bloody change.
Angus was someone who also hadn't played a senior game, so there was a big risk. I was watching the Birmingham highlights really randomly the other day. I get bored.
Bloody hell, that's great. That's great.
When we beat them 2-0 on Boxing Day, and his save that he made was top draw. The one he calls out is an unbelievable save, and I'd be very surprised if he's not playing Premier League football next year.
There is a reason why, there's a reason why there was some monetary issues over the transfer of Angus Gunn, because he is a top class player. He really is. You can tell he's from the Gunn family. City's number one son of Brian Gunn. It's true, isn't it? I think the thing with Angus is that I think the reason why there was so much more pressure is because it's his club.
Yeah, of course.
He literally bleeds yellow and green, and I mean, I'll be the first to admit when I got the call to say that Angus was going to come, I thought, okay, so he'll be number 2, and then even I forgot, because you get kind of stuck in this
that's the point, actually.
This Norwich City chasm of you don't really look outside it. Like literally, Angus Gunn has been texting Joe Hart. Whilst he's at Man City, he's taking shots off Sergio Aguero in training. Now, don't get me wrong. You're probably not going to save a few of those, quite a lot of those, but the ones you do save, I think if you're up against a world-class player like Sergio Aguero, week in, week out, I think it's only going to develop you, and I think there's an absolute reason why he signed as a Manchester City player.
Indeed, and there was also a question, I think there was a few people asking, who do you think our number 1 will be next season?
Remy Matthews.
Yeah.
I look at it in the same way with the whole loan then come back, and he just seems to me like he's being moulded to be the number 1.
Plymouth fans love him.
Yeah, and he's done well pretty much every loan he's had, and did well at Hamilton.
Yeah.
Did relatively well at Burton when he went there, and he's doing well at Plymouth. So
he's from Yarmouth. What do you expect?
Well,
what do you expect? Success. That's what comes out of Yarmouth.
But yeah, just to touch on Angus Gunn very, very quickly, I think he is what you describe as a complete goalkeeper. He's a shot stopper. He can play off the floor. He commands his area really well. And that was something initially that I worried about, was his sort of how he commanded his area, because you go from Ruddy, who was a big imposing figure, to Angus Gunn, who isn't necessarily.
Ruddy was nowhere near imposing enough. Absolutely lost
in his heyday. He was
agreed,
a big imposing figure.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he declined, but. That perhaps wasn't the side of Angus Gunn that I was expecting. I was expecting a technical sort of shot-stopping goalkeeper, but he commands his area brilliantly.
I hope Angus will be number 1 next season.
Do you think that's realistic?
I hope he'll be number 1 next season.
If we're in the Championship?
I hope he'll be number 1 next season.
Okay. Right, I think let's quickly... Bristol City, feeling confident. I mean, we've been filming for ages now. Initial thoughts, would you keep it the same, the team?
What, the 3 back?
3/5.
No.
No.
I would revert back.
Why?
Because I think away from home, particularly a place like Bristol City, you need pace down the sides, and I think Madison and Pritchard don't offer you that. I'd like to. I think Josh Murphy's got to come back out wide, and he's got because then you have a threat on the counter attack. And I think if this game is is the way I expect it to be, I think it'll be sort of in the same vein as Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, where we go there, dig in, and try and get something on the break.
Should Yannick start?
You're really hanging on to Yannick, aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
You're really hanging on to him.
Yeah.
Fair play.
He's an interesting one, isn't he? I get the impression Farke doesn't rate him, and I sort of have a theory why. I think he's not.
Don't kill me off here.
I'm not. I'm trying
absolutely murder him. Go on,
I think
Connor. I'm backing you here, mate.
Technically, I don't think he's good enough. In terms of how we want to play, he's not someone that's going to get the ball and pass. He's going to run through players.
Yeah.
He's going to run through players. He's not going to do...
Don't you love that?
As a supporter, yes. As someone in your team, he can't really cross the ball. He doesn't really have a lot of outlet.
See him getting emotional.
Listen, he's exciting to watch, but he's exciting because I don't think he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's the joy of it. I love that.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Is it?
I love that he just runs in straight lines and usually gets through and then just doesn't really
I think his days are numbered. Sorry.
I do, and again, I feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry for him because we probably shouldn't have signed him in the first place.
Yeah, he's the wrong player, wasn't he? He's sort of the wrong build as well.
I think he's...
Wrong build. I think his build is one of his strengths, personally.
I don't think he's technically good enough for English football.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with the technicalities. I think his general body. I think is actually quite.
For his body.
I do respect his body on the wing.
I'd like to see him have a go up front.
Yeah.
Did it at Wigan. It might be an option if strikers are going.
Yeah, please.
Right back, centre back, left back.
Not as a right back.
Well, if Pinto gets injured, he might be in there.
He probably will be.
I highly doubt it.
Well, that actually goes nicely into our few transfer rumours we've got. We've spoken about Madison, we've spoken about Pritchard. They're probably going to leave. End of.
What? What?
They are, aren't they?
What?
Pritchard will.
Maybe
Pritchard,
not this...
Madison, and probably both can leave.
Well, they are.
Stop being so negative, man.
They are. I'm being realistic.
There's
You're
Maybe
being
not this
realistic. You're
transfer
being
window.
overly negative.
No,
I think
not.
one will leave this window.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I
one,
think
not
Madison
both.
will
That's
go.
my point, Connor.
I don't think Madison will this window.
Do you not?
No.
So you think Pritchard's going to leave?
I do.
I think Madison's going to leave.
I think there's more interest or more firm interest to get Pritchard away this window than Madison, and I think there's a plan in place for that.
And you know what?
You've got inside knowledge.
And
That's maybe an ominous.
I actually back Connor. I totally with this.
I don't think he'll go to Huddersfield though. You won't go to Huddersfield.
You heard something. You're very confident on this. Shall I be putting my...
I'm not saying he'll definitely go, but I'm saying
When
if I was going to pick one of the two, I'd pick Pritchard.
To leave?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would as well.
When you're on the TNC podcast, you've just got to say no comment. That's like the thing that I say. I agree with Connor, definitely. And I think that Farke will prefer to keep Madison as well because it's kind of almost... It's not his boy, but it's his boy. Now, I've got, family members that have got gun club tickets still, even though it's completely lost the vibe.
What was the vibe?
What the gun club used to be. The gun club used to be a thriving...
social enterprise.
sociable, very popular place for fans to interact with. Delia used to have her food in there. She doesn't have her food in there anymore. Probably because of her mum, to be fair, which is fair enough. And it was a place that players could interact with the fans, and the person that did the interviews was Brian Gunn, and he got the best out of the players in terms of the questions that were asked. Doesn't happen like that anymore, unfortunately. McNally didn't like any ex-players being there because he had a power problem, hence why he had a little bit put in his heel as well. Anyway, I digress. Where even was I?
Madison or Pritchard?
Madison Pritchard. How was McNally and his heel implant?
One of my favourite implants.
Pritchard came into the gun club and apparently was a bit grumpy in terms of the fact that it was after the Millwall game he got man of the match, wasn't it? Was it the man of the match against Millwall he got?
Yeah.
Apparently he came into the gun club and he was quite kind of like almost too honest about the supporters and the attitude around the club. Mm-hmm. And I think my personal opinion is you've got to kind of play the game, but that's why I agree with you, Connor. I think that he's probably thinking, well, maybe I'm going to get... I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I love Pritchard, and personally I think that him and Madison are definitely the best two players at this football club, and I'd love to keep them both, but I agree, I think they'll let Pritchard go.
Madison will be the summer. Just for me, I think going at this stage, it would be silly for him, because he's not had a whole season. And if he goes to a big club, he's not going to play, and that's going to hinder his development. I think he'll go in the summer. I think he'll go for big money, and I can see him going on loan somewhere. Whether that's here or not, I don't know. But I see Pritchard being the one this window.
Cool. Okay. I think there's a few rumours. Tyrone how do we say we're going to pronounce it? Abuchi.
Like Debuchy.
No, this is a Nigerian name that I can't pronounce.
Okay.
Tyrone Abuchi. He's a right back from Den Haag.
Is he a beast?
Apparently he's a beast from
That's
Leeds.
all I care about.
Yeah, and we do need a right back.
Why?
Well, we've only got Pinto.
Okay, fair enough.
He's young again.
And Reece Alassani from Dulwich Hamlet.
Get him in. Why not?
He scored 17 and 16.
Why not?
Let's use that TV revenue to stick it on Reece Alassani. That's a great. Imagine Alassani scoring the last minute winner. Chris Gore would
Sounds
lose.
Italian. I hope there's some Italian there.
Well, Alassani.
Yeah, Alassani. Don't do the hands.
Possibly. I like that. Possibly. I don't know. Anyway, that's the podcast done this week. It's Bristol City up next. I will be there. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Thanks, boys, for bringing the cake.
Thanks, Connor.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
I've only just got through the cake, by the way.
You know what? The cake really did deliver. Sometimes you can see a cake and it's like, that looks nice, but is it going to taste nice? That tasted nice as well. It was light, it was fluffy, but it still had that nice consistency.
When it turned up and you found out there was fresh cream, I actually saw a little glisten in your eye, Jack.
It's a deal breaker, isn't it? It is what makes or breaks a cake. So thanks, Connor. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe on iTunes if you haven't already. If you really want to be generous, then leave a review on iTunes. You can do that. Links in the description. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can like our Facebook page. But more importantly, go and check out TalkNorwichCity.com. All of the best content on there. Because this man writes and you haven't got to listen to me or Chris talk absolute nonsense week in, week out. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.